times in a row.
Well, Joe also never used to recap. Like, went months and months without ever recapping.
So, when we picked up, we discovered that the true Quincy and Alan were trapped in a room behind a mirror. So there was a fight to kill the doppelganger Quincy. So yeah, after that, I think we ended up dispelling the mirror to free us. And we found a yellow orb in that room. Then there was a puzzle with the Jedi code and another giant moon.
Mm-hmm.
There was an orb visibly stuck in it, and we had to make a choice.
Pretty much, yeah.
In order to make it fall out. Mm-hmm. And so then there was a color puzzle with all the orbs. Well, there were 3 puzzles. 2 of them we solved legit, and there was a third that we...
The other one you solved legit, but I didn't read one sentence of the stupid fucking spell. And he had disintegration, just fucking got rid of this, like...
Disintegrate, that was it.
The whole thing, so... I gave it to you anyway, because good thing out of the box, but god damn it, it's so dumb they specifically say, a disintegration ray dispels a wall of force.
Oh, there was
You have... What?
I just forgot to mention one of the orbs. We had to do a little puzzle where one of us became an iron statue and had to rip its own chest open in the self room.
Did we handle that puzzle good? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to rip. And like you were, but whoever did it took like 4 points of exhaustion.
Right.
That's right. Okay, so after we solved the color puzzles, there was a pedestal and it transported us into whatever dimension has the infinite staircase.
Sorry, I lost the last like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah. When we solved the color puzzles, the electronic grating gave way. We approached this pedestal that transported us to the dimension with the infinite staircase. And we met Gloria again.
Uh-huh.
And she gave me her number.
She did. She gave you your true name. Her true name, pretty much.
Yeah, and she advised us on Moonfruit production and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we stopped. Oh, we had to come up with questions to ask the
Selune.
ancient adjudicator thing.
Right.
And I think that's where we stopped.
You guys all took a rest in Selune Smile Inn. In that little strange, like, it's very reminiscent of a town that you'd have back home. But it's, like, weird architecture. But it's a little, like, tiny little place where they have, like, empty shops and stuff where whenever the staircase opens, there's, people here. And so you guys are resting in an inn that supposedly Gloria owns called Selune Smile.
Okay.
Because initially when you got here, you guys were all just super fucked up, like just walking out of the dungeon, and there was some prick, like a Ladrin, like high elf with like the big, huge pointy ears, like in Vulcan Velv, who just was not having it, and he just wanted you guys to wait for like, you don't know how long. He's been really rude to you, then Gloria saw you guys and dismissed him. And she said she'd take care of you guys, so she took you back, cooked you breakfast, you guys got a nice sleep in. Somebody woke up early and talked to Gloria.
Wasn't me.
I think it was Terrence, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, because you only have to sleep like 4 hours, yeah. You guys had a little bit of conversation about the questions, and she said be careful with questions you ask, because Selune is able to, like, impart knowledge in a very large way, and it can break some people. So currently, it's still night outside. It's never daytime. As you look up, the moon, which is like 10 times bigger than it is back on Earth, like it's like one of the main features of the night sky. I mean, the whole night sky is beautiful and like full of a whole bunch of stars that you've never seen before. But the moon is just like this giant disc that's fucking like pretty much in your peripherals wherever you are. It's just like the main thing of this. The Silver Lit Isles is what it's called. Just a whole bunch of islands that are kind of high cliff, and there's just like a still sea around it as far as the eye can see. Currently, although you're in this a little strangely, a little haphazardly decorated, cozy inn. Gloria's cooked you guys all breakfast. She, passes it out on the table. She just kind of has her hands on your hips, like looking pleased as you guys are, eating away. Because y'all look so much better, like so much better. Ballstar, were you okay? You didn't look too very good. I mean, don't look 100% now, but you were awful pale.
No, I pretty much felt like shit. I had to like be a robot and then kill my robot self.
Oh right, y'all came through the trials.
You know like the specifics about the trial? Like I don't know what you know.
Oh, I know some things about him. We haven't got anybody through there. Time's weird, but it's been a minute here, so I bet it's probably been quite a long time back where y'all are from. Generally, all we saw were like gnomes that came through there, but this was way back when.
Oh, that's cool.
I know the trials are made for people like worshippers of Selune to prove themselves so they can come here. I know it's different for every person. Like the whole thing changes around every time somebody activates it.
That's really cool. You know, it's weird. I only know like 3 gnomes.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't y'all mention you had a vineyard in like the gnome country?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, we're not really from there. We just kind of got like... Well, we worked with some other guys. We stopped like existing, and then we went away for a long time, and we came back, and now like we don't know who our friends were back. We do. That is real. We do have a vineyard in like gnome country.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry you don't know very many other... I like
So
they're
far,
always very nice, very polite.
They're pretty cool, like the ones I know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry you don't... Y'all should get... You make more gnome friends. Well, I mean, y'all have any other questions or anything? I mean, it's probably about... we can go whenever we want. I mean, you guys are treated special guests here. Honestly, you could have had quarters in the actual complex if you wanted, but I thought maybe y'all be a little bit more homey here in an inn by yourselves, so not so many assholes.
It's a good choice.
Lurking around.
This has been great. Oh, I had a question. So is it like a genie thing? Like you got 3 wishes or 3 questions, or like how open is Selune to like us, me talking the way I always do?
Well, depends. She kind of looks out at one of the windows, looks up for a second. She goes, it's really hard to tell. She changes.
Is it
You're not really gonna meet like Selune, like pure like being of like light in the darkness and all that. Y'all gonna meet an avatar of her, which is a personification of something that normal people can comprehend. Generally, that form tends to change.
like her dungeon.
Flight.
Oh.
She's on the chaotic end of good. She's good, but just there's a couple different forms you can take, and each one of those is going to take certain ways. So I couldn't honestly tell you which one it's going to be. It's about halfway between 2 of them right now, but I mean, she could take any form she wants when she's up there.
Hey, is it like a reflection of like the person talking to her, or is it just like a general like people, humanoids can comprehend her a certain way?
Sure, it's like the phases of the moon, isn't it?
She goes, yeah, he kind of nail on the head there.
Oh yeah, duh.
One thing I do want you to know is that uh, there's Selune and there's Necris, right? There's like the goddess of illumination and knowledge, and there's the goddess of secrets and and all that. Whenever Selune's in one form, um, Necris is in the opposite, and I wouldn't really bring up Necris. It's a touchy subject.
Oh, okay.
I guess it all depends on who you're talking to. Some forms will gladly talk about it. Others might be a little bit more careful.
What phase of the moon is the moon in right now? The giant moon.
It is. It's hard to tell whether it's like in between half moon and crescent moon.
Okay.
It's like a weird in between that. It could be really. It could be at either one.
Okay.
But I think we should formalize it. We should write them down and agree on the three.
Yeah.
That specific wording.
Sure.
Yeah. Ooh, Alan, you probably know about wording, right?
I've been careful about writing. Yeah.
Okay.
As you guys are in the middle of talking about this, you get ready to sit down and write down some. You see Gloria. She's kind of bent over. She's picking up all the dishes from breakfast. She's humming. She's happy to serve. She likes being an innkeeper, playing at being an innkeeper, even though she's like a four-armed gigantic snake woman with getting two halos. But she's humming away. She's in the middle of getting ready to write all this down, and she's on her way back to the kitchen to put all the stuff in the sink. You guys hear all of the plates drop and break.
Holy shit.
She's just standing completely upright.
Are you okay?
Eyes just distant. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so what a mess. I'm so sorry. Look, I'm gonna clean this up really quick. I gotta go. I've been called. But do y'all remember where you need to go?
No.
A complex, and you find the tallest tower. Just ask for the Angelus Adjudicator, and people will be able to point you where you need to go. Okay?
Is it by the stairs? Have we been there before?
Different part of the stairs. You ask around, somebody will be able to help you out. Okay?
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave this here. This is kind of important. Okay, it's so good to see you. I hope I get to see you when you guys leave. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Come back. I'll be waiting for you. Bye. She gives each one of you a quick hug and a kiss on the forehead. And she exits out, and as soon as she leaves the door, you just see just soars off into the night sky.
That can't be good, right?
Was she looking out the window or something?
No,
Oh.
she was on her way back to the kitchen holding the plates, and she just dropped them all, and she kind of went blank for a second.
Probably don't have a ton of time. That was creepy. Okay, so is Primus dead, right? That's the first question.
Yes. I think we should try and broaden it a little bit to gain more information about the situation. But that's the essence of it.
Okay, so we agreed that's one for sure, in some form. Then we got. Oh, we were gonna do Quesnef's name. I think that's my vote for number 2.
Quesnef's true name.
Yeah.
And I would also see if we could broaden that to include how to find and kill him.
Quincy, you know about how.
Well, first you have to kill him on this this world, and then she goes back to the Nine Hells and there.
Well, why do we know his? Why do we gotta know his name? I thought we needed his name for something.
You would do you genuinely not know, or are you just trying to think how to put it?
Well, I think it's that you can like summon him to our world with his true name once he goes to the Nine Hells. Is that right?
No, a true name is kind of like knowing. It's like Gloria gave her your true name, so you guys can you can summon her. You could do that with if you got Quesnef's as well, but it also allows you if you're gonna do a scrying spell, knowing exactly where he is. If you're gonna do something like teleport, teleport's a different thing. But true name kind of means you have a little bit of power over him. It's like you have him, the essence of him.
Gotcha. Okay.
You could try to bind him and summon him as well.
So we get rid of that. Then we got the elves, right? Who will help us? No, the Fae. Yeah, the Fae. Right? Because they wouldn't help us unless we get rid of that contract. Right?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, when we met with the giant Fae gods in the Feywild, when we on-off chased the butterfly, we asked for their help, and they said maybe once you get rid of the guy.
You're right. They said once you get rid of the stain on your name, we'll be able to trust you enough to lend forces.
Oh, alright. Okay, so that's kind of two questions. What was the third?
got a lot.
Creation Forge.
There's a big one. Usador wanted to ask about Emon, Gorgloth, and Orcus. Terrence wanted to ask about his arm-eating gauntlet. March of the Moedrons. Oh, we were going to ask Primus being dead, right?
Yeah.
So how would we word that? Is Primus not being around causing the Moedrons to do their thing?
State of Primus and the Moedrons.
Alright.
That's a good one.
Say it again.
What is the state of Primus and the Moedrons?
Succinct.
Or maybe the current state?
Oh, but what if you get if a god's dead, what happens? Is that gonna freak your bean?
Only one way to find out.
So I think me and Chris are having some connectivity issues. You guys are cutting out seconds or so. So if we don't respond, we're ignoring you. It's because sometimes it cuts.
No, our internet is being really poopy right now.
Yeah, I think I'm getting the same cuts you are.
Yeah, we have a 6 megabyte download speed right now.
Woof.
Okay, so we have one about Primus. We have one about Quesnef. What was the third?
The questions that I have written down that you guys were thinking about was the Dragon Fang Gauntlet. You were curious about that. you were curious about Mab and Radoff and what the balance could mean between them, what what they're doing, what that whole thing is. Who was Butterfly Longhair? You also the Black Spider, Lucan. What happened to Mr. Bartleby? The flat skulls. Is there a way to reverse the process of the Warforged using the flatheads?
Oh yeah.
There was something about the Warforged though, right? No, that's the other question that we had was something about how to defeat them or something about the Creation Forge.
Yeah.
It was how to destroy a Creation Forge. Or something about Creation Forges.
Oh,
So maybe one question could be, how do we destroy or deactivate the source of the Warforges or the Warforged power to overthrow them?
I just thought we could ask about the Mornland too. If that's related to the Creation Forge.
Yeah, that was another question, was the repercussions of releasing Amon Gorgoth the spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Crap.
Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but you guys started a Zerg hive in Breland.
Oh yeah.
Okay, just so you guys know.
Letting it.
Get a good stinky brew going.
I kind of like the three that we have. Primus / Modrons. I'm not married to the Quesnef one.
The more we talk about it, yeah, that's less appealing.
But then how can we interfere with or deactivate the Warforged power source or whatever?
Also, didn't we just see a lot of shit about like all the planes lining up?
Yep.
That's kind of like interesting, right? That seems like a thing we should maybe prioritize.
That might be connected with Primus.
Oh yeah. Stuff it in with that question.
What is the current state of Primus, the Modrons, and the Celestial synchronization?
Yeah.
Well, what if she's like, okay, those are your 3 questions. Bye-bye. Are we cool with that?
Yeah.
Seems like the highest priority, I guess. Okay. Should we write it down? We know what like our 2 questions are for sure.
Yeah, I got the 2 written down. I've got, what is the current state of Primus and the Modrons and the alignment of the heavenly bodies with all implications?
Your head's gonna explode. That's a huge... I'm an idiot, and I thought it's a huge question.
Yeah, all implications. It's like all possibilities.
Yeah.
So, that specify the implications for this war.
It's pretty broad.
Well, it'd be the war on an Eberron or whatever. Like, she's not from that world, probably. Sorry, I'm slipping into my gnome voice. Only other characters in gnome.
What's
It's a fun, like whatever Josiah has like stapled as gnome. It's
Yeah.
super fun to do though.
Yeah.
You just talk up here and kind of fast.
Yeah.
You ramble a lot. You don't have to sound intelligent at all.
It's super good. I love it.
It's fun to do.
I was calling it the Warforged War of Aggression.
Sure.
All I'm saying is that she, might have to specify that that's happening on Eberron or something.
Warforged War of Aggression in Eberron.
Nice.
Okay. And then what was our... Did we get a phrasing for the second question? Was that the Creation Forge one?
Yes, how do we destroy or deactivate the source of the Warforged war on aggression and the source of their power?
All right.
Cool, yeah.
Okay. And what were you guys trying to rethink the Quesnef one?
It just doesn't seem incredibly useful all of a sudden. Now that we're talking about the other stuff.
I mean,
I know,
getting the Fae.
If you have his true name, you could spy on Quesnef anytime you could use the words, like the spell scrying, and you could call him to where you are.
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna be huge, though. You know what I mean? If we could actually, pull it off.
Pull what off?
Actually, break the contract and, be cool in the gang with, the Fey Lords.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has potential to be huge, and a huge advantage for us.
What's that again?
Getting the Fae to help us out in the big battle.
Yeah, I think the Quesnef is a good line to take.
Good
Cool.
investment.
Yeah, I think so then. As long as we're all cool.
So what's the wording on that? Do we just want his true name?
And
What is the true name of the demon called Quesnef? And how do we defeat him?
Quesnef the Rakshasa.
sure,
Yeah.
I like it.
write it down. Watch, we're gonna have all this shit ready to go, and we're gonna walk in, and Selune's gonna be like, "So tell me about yourself." It's all gonna go to shit.
Nobody phrase anything with the interrogative uptick.
Oh yeah. So no questions, right?
Stop that.
Oh, this is gonna be so hard for me. I probably just shouldn't talk.
But what, not the phrase?
I don't think I can not ask a question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I guess we should get going then.
Yeah.
As soon as Quincy's done doing whatever it is he does.
Okay. So you guys are free to leave the inn whenever you want.
Yeah, I will ask around for how to find the ancient adjudicator.
I would remember how to get there, right? Or the general.
Yeah. You went from the complex to this main square. This main head of the infinite staircase. As you guys exit, again, this plaza is pretty deserted. There's not really anybody here. You can see up above that there is there's a lot of activity flying around. A lot of those winged snake beings kind of flying around, doing stuff, but it's really hard to tell in the night sky. You guys make your way to the complex?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. It's the other very large structure on this island, so it's very easy to see over anything, over any sort of woods or buildings. You make your way into the large gates. There are these giant fucking 16-foot, completely bald, genderless humanoids done in celestial, ridiculous Viking armor, each with great swords that are each 10 feet tall. They're resting. They're just staring with pupilless eyes as you step into the gate. It's hard to tell if they're looking at you, but you kind of know they're looking at you, just kind of piercing into your mind. One of them, as Alan Greenspan steps by, one of them just fucking eyes down Alan Greenspan.
I wave at him.
There's no expression or anything. He's just fucking staring at you.
I'll go on my way.
Okay. You guys make it in. You ask about the Aegis Adjudicator. Another different female Eladrin. One of these strange high elves with no pupils, and very pale, in these elaborate robes. She takes a bow. She goes, "I will take you for where you need to go." She makes her way through a couple more buildings, down huge, sprawling hallways. Each of these hallways, every inch of it is covered in strange symbols, complex formula. It's a little dizzying to see just the minute detail into every square centimeter. Even if you get close, you see within the symbols, inside of those symbols are even smaller symbols. It just goes down and down and down. Just intricate. Go through a couple sprawling hallways. It's not particularly busy. Every once in a while you'll see an errant, one of these serpent creatures just kind of making its way hurriedly through the hallways. They'll take they take and then just continue going kind of pretty quickly wherever they need to go. One of them passes right by you, and the Eladrin stops. It's guiding you and looks back behind, looks at you guys. It's no matter. Eventually, she takes you to another large chamber. It just seems like hallway after hallway. The inside of this seems to not really correspond to what it looks like on the outside. The outside looks like a large compound, some sort of interconnected temple with a huge tower on it. But all of these hallways seem to be so much bigger than what you would have thought. Being in here, it's they're a football field wide, and it seems to stretch on to oblivion almost. As she takes you, maze after maze. Finally, she takes you. She goes. There's another large tower. There's just a simple there's a medium-sized staircase going up this insanely large chamber that just is this tower that goes up almost to oblivion. She goes, take the steps up. You'll find the gardening observatory up at top. The adjudicator should be there, waiting for you.
Proceed to the top.
All right. You guys go up the stairs. It just doesn't seem like this is as big as it was on the outside. It takes for fucking ever. You guys are probably climbing these stairs for an hour and a half. It sucks so bad. And it's all spiral, so there's no landings. So it's just
I tie my shirt around my forehead.
Yeah, it feels like you're just climbing a mountain. Eventually, the stairs lead up. It gets to a point. It's just the bottom of the stairs just descends into blackness. You can't see anything. You continue up. Finally, you see where the stairs would exit into a platform. You guys all get up. Finally, you get to a place that's it's an open air garden. It looks like, or observatory or something. All along one side, the side that you've come out, you can see that there's an edge to this. You've come out towards one of the edges. There's no walls per se or fences. There is a series of just open arches that are interconnected by a loose framework. No ceiling. It's just open to the stars. But every once in a while, you can see kind of it's been crisscrossed. There's all of this like moss plant growth, strange twisted plant life you've never really seen before. Gives it like a really natural, very ruinsy kind of feel to it. But as you can see, all of these open arches that would be the up in like you are impossibly high, and it just opens up into a seascape where just this calm, still sea goes out until it touches the moon. You can see a little bit of the island, but it seems like the tower you saw from when you were approaching is just not that tall. Like you are like airplane level high at this point. And as you look to your left, you try to see the other far wall of where this would happen, and it just kind of disappears into sculpted, ruinsy, stoneworked garden.
Wow.
Plants grow from in between stone tiling and poke out of iridescent pools of light blue. Small fireflies leap back and forth from between the seemingly wooded area where most of the statuary and stonework end, disappearing into the mist. The tower surely wasn't that wide, was it? The larger trees that are growing, seeming to be etched with endlessly complex figures and symbols, depicting star charts and formula, and each of their boughs a perfectly circular hole has been outlining a specific part of the night sky, filled with a staggering amount of unfamiliar stars. Inside each one of these, or every once in a while, in these archways, there is a statue. Different statues, it looks like, just kind of like going off that are, bordering this. It seems to be, they're all seemingly different.
How spread out are the statues? Are they kind of scattered? Or are they all like...
It's there in the archways that open up into the view.
Okay, gotcha.
Far from that, it's just sculpted garden as far as you can see. The Eladrin left you, so she's gone.
So we're like,
Alright, so we came up to these arches that are kind of on the top of the tower, right? Like, are they like making a perimeter around the edge of the tower?
I thought it was just
No,
a
it's like
lattice of them
Okay.
everywhere.
So, John, those arches, are they kind of like lining the perimeter of the tower?
Yeah, it seems that way.
Okay. And there are statues kind of underneath the arches?
Uh-huh. Some are crumbled, some have been overtaken by some like plant growth. Some you can see.
Can I look around? Like, are there different arches? Do they have different like cutouts or anything? Or like made for viewing different stages of the moon kind of a thing?
You look in to see if you could, like, if the moon looks any different within each of the arches. The moon seems to look the same.
Okay. Could I just like check out one of the better looking statues, less decrepit?
Yeah, sure. One of the statues is a it's not colored or anything. It's all just made up of like chiseled marble. It looks like, but there is a beautiful teenager with very large blank eyes, just kind of kneeling, her legs kind of out. She's wearing just like a gown that's like splayed out, and the detail is incredible. As you can see, every fold of the fabric between like her legs that are kind of out. It used to be like one hand down, knees out. playing her hand half cool. She looks to be looking wistfully out with very large blank eyes towards the garden.
Can I make like a perception check? Just try to see what she might be looking at.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. 24.
You kind of match her gaze. She seems to be looking in between 2 or 3 of these large trees that have grown out, that have these circular boughs where the trees have grown in a certain way. You can view a certain part of the night sky. But she's looking between there and a certain part.
Okay. Can I look for another statue with a head? Try to like make some sort of, see if they're looking at this something similar.
You find another statue of a very elderly woman in her 90s. She seems to be sitting cross-legged in a meditative stance. Each one of her arms poking out of her robes are holding different crystals. You can't see any of her face as she has a hood down. You just see the very, very old jowls and the very kindly wrinkles around her face and her chin. As you kind of look up into where the hood would be, it just kind of disappears in the blackness.
I'm going to call out hello.
Just echoes.
I'm going to tell the guys what I'm doing, and I'm going to try to go investigate over where that initial statue was looking between the trees.
Okay. You look between the trees. They are very large, mature, beautiful trees. It's something, leaf shapes you've never seen before. They're not quite needles. It's not quite like leaves. It's a strange like mix of them all up and down the tree. It's beautiful. It's the wood itself seems to go from the inner bark is like this beautiful light blue to a brilliant purple to this brown. As you kind of see between the bark, you can see just all of these etchings of formula on every square inch of the tree. You look up to where the circle, the boughs have grown to a perfect circle. You look up and you see that there's a set of constellations in that where the leaves have grown in a specific pattern, but they're constellations you've never seen before. Almost like confusing because there's so many stars. You seem to be so close to all of them, but they're so fucking far away. You can see in great detail, just like the more you look, you can just see like what you thought was blackness just filled with more stars.
Are there any constellations I do recognize?
No.
I'm gonna go get Terrence and show him the etchings and sketchings, and then I'll touch it to see if there's any language I can comprehend.
You touch it. You can comprehend it, but you get a little bit of a a severe headache for a second. Just like this spike of pain. You're just like, ow, fuck, ow.
Too much. Can you make anything out of this, man?
You know the weirdest thing about touching the tree is that everything that you saw and everything that you understood, it was all different scripts at the same time, but it all seemed to rhyme at the same time. This fucking strange mathematical... You didn't know exactly what it said, but you know that it all was interconnected, interlocking, and it all rhymed. The same cadence like poetry.
Terrence will roll investigation.
It's like there's like a rhythm to it.
You said 3?
30.
30? Investigation, you find a lot of engravings on each of these trees. Every root seems to be that detailed, even if it's buried in the ground. but you can't understand it.
I got nothing. This is nice looking.
Do you see what I'm seeing? The way it's, I don't know what it is, but it all flows together somehow. They're not like disparate things.
Yes. Well, it's all in the interpretation, I'm sure.
You fucking always say that.
I'm just gonna start walking around and looking at shit.
Okay, leaving others behind, or just doing your own thing?
I'm not gonna like wander too far off. I'm gonna stay pretty close by, but just looking around, I guess.
Yeah, sure. It's just more sculpted gardens. You find a whole like not field, but you find a ledge where it kind of dips down into like a valley almost, and for like at least 700 feet in every direction, you notice that there are very meticulously placed pots with flowers that seem to glow in different hues in the moonlight and seem to change in like a beautiful display. And from up high, from where you are, you can just see all these paths cut in and out, all very laid out. The paths themselves seem to be just like dirt, like and mulch. Or there's like plants or any like weird mix between overgrowth and like stonework. It's just kind of everywhere. You can see just like there's a statue garden here, reflection pool there. There's a beautiful fountain there.
Do the arches look like they can bear weight?
It's just kind of interconnected arches, like aligning one wall. It's like this drop off.
I want to try to get on top of them.
Okay, roll athletics.
$16.
Yeah, you get on top of the arches. Kind of like squat down and stand up and keep your balance.
Make a mean face, Alan.
Why would I do that?
He's a gargoyle.
Okay, so I'm up there. Do they just seem like a path, or they just keep going?
Yeah, they just kind of go off. Some like grown trees, but it's like just a right angle which continues down, down, down. And like, as you look down to your right, you can just see this like severe tower. It's impossible to see how high you are. It could be 1,000, could be 10,000 feet up.
Oh, so I'm at a very edge of the tower.
Yeah, the parts with the arches are one boundary of this tower.
I see.
Should we go explore some?
Yeah, maybe check out the middle of it.
Sure.
Is that what everybody's doing?
I'll go with it.
Terrence wants to look for another exotic fruit.
Sure, roll a perception check.
Natural 1.
You don't find any.
That's it.
I think as Terrence goes off by himself to try to find exotic fruits, you guys are just kind of following. You pick a path and just start following it, trying to find somewhere in the middle. Terrence goes off the beaten path, like, I'm gonna go look for a fruit really quick. He goes off. He goes for like maybe he's gone for 15 minutes. Terrence, you're looking through the brush. It's not really brush because it's all sculpted gardens, but you find yourself you find a large door and kind of like some other stonework walls. As you walk around this, you find it's just like a chamber with no ceiling. Like, oh, okay. So you go up and you open one of these large iron doors and it just smoothly opens up. And inside is this brilliantly black opalescent like bird that's about 9 feet tall. There's about 7 of them.
Oh my god.
As you open it up, there's a little like hutch in the side of where they would normally be, and they have these beautiful like peacock feathers on the sides or on their tails. As soon as you open it up, they all just like snap to you with these like glowing black red eyes, and one of them goes, "Bah!" 3 or 4 more begin to like circle you.
Oh god.
You can see where there would normally be like talons. There's like 3 velociraptor claws.
I'm gonna start backing out.
Okay. As soon as you take 1 step, all of them take 2. Stick looking at you.
I look over my shoulder and figure out what the distance that I have to cover to get out.
You could probably get there and shut the iron door.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay, you run. As soon as you run, you hear feathers and like flightless, like flapping of wings. You shut the door and you hear on the other side. No fruit there.
I fetch a cloth from my pocket and
Just tie it.
clean up the sharp that I just made.
Yeah. You find your way back to
Yeah.
everybody else. You guys kind of follow a garden path.
I prestidigitate my shart.
Sand off!
I would much rather have prestidigitation than any other spell.
Oh,
Yeah, in
Just
real
be the
life.
best. Fuck Wish. I just want prestidigitation.
Imagine
Yeah.
just being able to wear white clothes whenever you want.
Ah, it'd be so good. Or owning cats and having like not be covered in cat fur in the time.
Did any of you go watch that that Netflix movie with Ray Romano and Mark, guy from The League? There's this great scene where Ray Romano's character is like asking it's like what superpower would you want? And he's like, yeah, everyone wants to fly, everyone wants to be invisible, blah blah blah. But how far down the list do you have to go before you pick sand off? And then he's like, what's sand off? You know, when you go to the beach and you go sand. It's like that'd be like number 3 for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fucking awesome.
Sand off.
Hey, John, did you go next?
No, look.
Robert Sandoffel.
Oh yeah. We'll get to one in just a second.
Yeah,
actually.
doesn't have to be
Um,
right now.
you guys follow. You just decide to just kind of walk the garden, see where it takes you. You end up walking for a little while, like maybe 30, 45 minutes, just following a random path. You see wonderful things. You see what looks to be a large dome as the path takes you through it. This bronze dome set upon old stone structures covered in vines. On the inside of that dome, you can see that there is some sort of light apparatus that's projecting stars all over that golden dome on the inside as each one of the stars twinkle and move in certain places. As you go through, you stumble upon another, like a zoo almost. These animals that aren't caged, they're just standing in open fields, completely open to the path. They're completely well behaved. Animals you've never seen before. There's a turtle duck that's just chilling in its little pond. It's just a little turtle shell with the duck head coming out, little flippers. There's one where it's a a wolf and a polar bear put together. It's this dog polar bear combination. It's little squares covered in ice. As soon as you walk up to it, you just kind of like put your hand up, sniffs, gives a little bit of a lick. It doesn't attack or anything, but it's just like this zoo, like this feature full of animals that are willing to come up and cuddle pretty much. Perfectly well behaved. You make it through a little while. Finally, you reach something that you see that's streaking over all of the trees and the carefully sculpted hills of flowers and underbrush. This tower of complex and well-maintained machinery streaks into the night sky. Pipes, mirrors, and polished crystals all twist and contort around each other, and they streak into the sky, seemingly forever. At the base of this tower is an impressive and stylized water urn, tipped to one side, slowly leaking out a brilliant blue substance into a small pool. All the machinery here seems to be purposed to the urn and its function. In the middle of the shallow water is a statue with dizzying detail and scale, maybe 50 feet tall, depicting two women in desperate struggle of conflict. Both figures have trailing, flowing gowns that flow in and out of their similar armor and adornments. With perfect features, each bears 7 wings and an additional set of arms, wielding impossibly complex weapons and charms. Their faces are steeled for battle. Both seem to have struck a fatal blow on the other. One statue made of a brilliant, sparkling stone has fires of some sort of energy into the abdomen of the other, while the second figure, made of an opalescent blue-black, has thrust a spear into the heart of the other. So there's this giant fucking machine that stretches into the sky. At the base of that machine, there's like this giant water urn that's just dripping out this like bright white liquid into this shallow, wide pool. The shallow, wide pool inset into the front center of that is this 50-foot gigantic sculpture of these two like goddesses, 7 wings, 4 arms, weapons, entangled in combat. One of them has a spear through the heart of the black one has a spear through the heart of the white, and the white one has this energy blast through the stomach of the black one. This is a huge clearing. It looks like most of the gardens has like faded away to this. This is probably a good time if you want to try to restart the computer.
Okay, cool. Alrighty. See you in 5.
Yeah.